Looking for a new longboard to add to your quiver? Well, let's talk about the Noosa 66 by McTavish Surfboards. Hi guys, Chris from Stoked Travel here, or welcome back to the channel. And before I get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any video goodness. Now today we're going to be talking about longboarding, or more importantly, the Noosa 66 model by McTavish Surfboards. Now, as much as I've enjoyed reviewing a whole heap of shortboards for this channel over the last few years, longboarding is really where my passion lies, and I love a good logging session. Now, I recently added the Noosa 66 model to my quiver, which has been on my bucket list for a long time now, and it's an absolute gem of a longboard. Now, if you don't know anything about this model or McTavish Surfboards, McTavish Surfboards is run by the legend himself, Bob McTavish, who's been an absolute central pivot point of the surfing community since way back in the 60s, and he actually started the shortboard revolution here in Australia as well. If you want to find out more about Bob and his legacy and everything he's been up to and his huge history of surfing, make sure you check out his book Stoked. Put a link in the description below so you can grab that one off Amazon. Now today we're talking about the Noosa 66 model. It's a model that was developed at the height of longboarding here in Australia back in the 60s and really kind of honed and perfected on the point breaks of Noosa and the sunny coast, hence its name. It's definitely a more traditional throwback longboard than today's kind of more modern performance-based longboards, but it's great fun to ride, and I've been testing mine out heaps over the last couple of months, so I thought I'd bring you a full review. So yeah, let's jump straight in. So first off, who is the Noosa 66 aimed at? Now, even though it's a longboard and it's pretty easy to paddle and get up on, it is definitely not aimed at the beginner end of the spectrum, and the Noosa 66 definitely takes a little bit more skill and a little bit more style to really surf well. So ideally, you're going to be wanting to trimming on green, unbroken waves. You're going to want to be able to do quite a bit of cross-stepping to make the most out of this board, and the more experienced a surfer you are, especially when it comes to longboarding, the more you're going to get out of this board. So yeah, if you're already cross-stepping, getting a little bit of hang time, the Noosa 66 is going to be a great addition to your quiver. So when it comes down to board breakdown and dimensions, the Noosa 66 model comes in everything from a 9.0 right through to a 9.8 version. And if you're looking for the most traditional version compared with like the 60s models, the 9.6 sits really nicely at the most traditional kind of sizing. For me, I managed to get hold of a 9.3 unclaimed custom, actually shaped by Bob himself, which I'm really stoked on. And that comes in by 9.3 by 23 by 3. So it's got a lot of volume running through that board. And to be honest, I wouldn't actually change that. It paddles really well, and I really enjoyed surfing it. When it comes down to the breakdown of the board itself, it's got a really flat rocker profile. Makes it an absolute paddle machine, especially in those smaller conditions. You've got 50-50 kind of egg rails, which give you a lot of stability through cross-stepping and also nose riding as well, but also a full rolled bottom as well for seamless transitions from rail to rail, despite the size of this board. All of these characteristics combine for a really traditional longboarding feel and is definitely a full throwback to the 1960s. When it comes to the fin setup in the Noosa 66 by McTavish Surfboards, the McTavish GG fin is the way to go, as this is the original template from the original boards. So if you're looking for that really traditional throwback feel, that's the way to go fin-wise. Of course, it's a dedicated single fin, so you can use a range of other single fins in that box if you want to play around. The McTavish involvement fin is also another really good option in this board. It's a little bit more loose, so you've got a little bit more pivot and maneuverability, but it still has plenty of control when you're cross-stepping and on the nose as well. But yeah, dedicated single fin for the win. When it comes to the perfect wave conditions for the Noosa 66, for me, it's really in that kind of head high and under that this board really lights up, with that chest to shoulder high range being the absolute sweet spot for me on this board. In terms of the waves you're going to want to be surfing this board on, the longer the better. It's definitely designed for those big open point breaks, so think the Pass in Byron Bay, Broken Head, and of course spots like Tea Tree and the Noosa points as well. So you've got a nice long rolling wave, that's absolutely ideal for this board. Plenty of trim, plenty of time on the nose, and plenty of space to maneuver it as well. I have surfed it in some smaller, kind of more punchy conditions. It is good fun, but it definitely prefers those kind of more calmer, chilled waves, and especially a long rolling wave. In terms of bigger conditions, you can take the Noosa 66 out in kind of bigger, punchier stuff as well. You do have to be a much more experienced longboarder to really keep control of that board and make the most of it on those bigger days. If you are looking for a single fin that can handle bigger, punchier stuff, I would also highly recommend checking out the McTavish Rincon. Check out the link in the description below for my full review on that. But that board is kind of the next step in the evolution towards the shortboard, so it's a lot more maneuverable and can handle a lot more punch and size. But yeah, for me, that chest to shoulder height range is where the Noosa 66 really comes into play. And of course, what is the Noosa 66 like to surf? Well, for me, the testing ground has been the pass in Byron Bay, a nice reeling sandy bottom point break. If you know Byron Bay and you know the area, you'll know that that break is also super busy. So when I rocked up with my Noosa 66, I was a bit worried about the crowds, don't want to ding it, it's an absolutely beautiful board, didn't want to ruin it on the first surf. I actually rocked up to the pass, waist high, clean day, and only 4 other people in the water. I was like, what the hell is going on here? But it was the perfect testing ground to get that board in the water and really feel it out. I spent over 2 hours in the water that day, caught over 25 waves and surfed over 3 kilometers of waves as well, according to my surf watch. And I got that thing dialed in and absolutely fell in love with the Noosa 66. Now, I'm not going to lie, the first couple of waves I was a bit like, oh, what have I done here? It felt a bit awkward underfoot and was very different to the feeling of the boards that I usually surf, so like my more kind of performance-based longboards and a lot of the other longboards I've surfed. As soon as I kind of embraced that kind of 60s flow, that trimming, kind of sticking into that kind of top third of the wave and kind of keeping it close to the pocket and the power source, the Noosa 66 absolutely lit up and was an absolute joy to ride. When it comes to cross-stepping, feels really solid underfoot. That GG fin kind of locks everything in, keeps it really nice and stable. Those nice egged rails just hold really beautifully as you walk around on the board. And in terms of nose time, really good on the nose. Feels really solid underfoot, just locks in and just holds. If you are looking for a nose riding longboard, the Noosa 66 isn't the easiest board to nose ride. The aptly named Nose Rider by McTavish is a great option to check, but it definitely gets you on the nose, no worries at all. So it takes a little bit more skill than kind of a lot more kind of fatter railed boards that are going to sit in the pocket and be a little bit more forgiving. But once you dial the Noosa 66 in and get it really locked into that pocket of the wave, it's going to hold really well and feel really solid underfoot. Bottom line here is the Noosa 66 has been an absolute joy to ride. I'm absolutely loving it. It is my go-to longboard now, and I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it at all. So yeah, if you're looking for a really nice 60s inspired longboard, the Noosa 66 is a great way to go. Okay, so now let's talk pricing. Now, as a premium surf brand, McTavish Surfboards also come with that premium price tag, but they are stunningly finished and are almost works of art in themselves. And now Noosa 66 as a base model starts from about 2,700 Aussie dollars for a board. And obviously if you add different tints, artwork, anything like that, it does get more and more expensive. And if you do want it finished by Bob himself, hand-shaped throughout, it will add about 1,500 bucks to the overall experience. But you then do get a one-on-one consultation with the man himself. So if you're looking for that kind of really cool surf experience and that really special customized board, that might be something to consider. If you don't have the budget for that, which I know a lot of people won't, keep an eye out for the McTavish garage sales. They have a couple times a year, so if you're around Byron, keep an eye out for that. I actually managed to pick up my Noosa 66 a couple of weeks before the last garage sale and actually only paid $1,600 for it. So even though it's still expensive, it's relatively cheap when it comes to a McTavish board as well. So keep an eye out there for them and you could get yourself an awesome bargain. Now the bottom line is, are the boards worth it? Well, I've absolutely fallen in love with my Noosa 66. Not only is it a beautiful looking board, but it also surfs beautifully as well. And I really like the feel of it underfoot. It's kind of really nice to have that kind of bit of surfing heritage built into the model I'm surfing, that throwback to the 60s as well. So if you really love longboarding and you love a beautiful piece of equipment underneath your feet, the Noosa 66 by McTavish Surfboards comes highly recommended. And there you have it, guys. That's my full review of the Noosa 66 model by McTavish Surfboards. If you have any other questions about this board, make sure you add them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Make sure you check out the rest of my YouTube channel for heaps of reviews, advice, surf guides, and more. That's it for this week, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Yoo!